So let's talk about one of the most powerful ideas in all of human history. Seriously, it's a concept that has shaped everything, from ancient philosophy all the way to the software that's literally running on your phone right now. This is the incredible story of the axiomatic method.
And it really all boils down to this one kind of wild question. What's the invisible thread connecting the geometry of ancient Greece with the AI that lives in your pocket? Well, the answer is a 2,300-year-old idea about how to build knowledge on a foundation of absolute rock-solid certainty. Okay, let's get into it.
Our story begins with this grand, epic quest. We'll call it the Axiomatic Dream, a mission that spans centuries to find a perfect, unshakable foundation for everything we know.
In this quest, it stretches all the way from the ancient world right up to the dawn of the 20th century. It kicks off around 300 BCE with Euclid, who gives us the original blueprint. Then you fast forward over 2,000 years and you land on David Hilbert, a brilliant mathematician who basically decides he's going to perfect that blueprint and build this indestructible skyscraper of all of mathematics right on top of it.
You know, back in Euclid's Greece, this idea was totally revolutionary. His famous book, The Elements, it wasn't just a list of facts about triangles and circles. No, it was a system, like a machine for generating truth. It became the ultimate symbol of intellectual certainty.
So, what is this method really? Well, think of it like building with Legos. You start with just a handful of basic, undeniable bricks. We call them axioms. Things so obviously true, you don't even need to prove them. Then, using these super strict rules of logic, you start clicking them together to build these incredibly complex and beautiful structures, which we call theorems. And the best part? Every single new piece is guaranteed to be solid, because the foundation is.
And the process itself is just this beautifully simple recipe for certainty. Step 1, you start with your axioms, those self-evident truths. Step 2, you apply airtight logic to them. And the result? You get new conclusions, theorems, that are just as certain as your starting point. It's a powerful, and what seemed to be a completely foolproof way to build knowledge.
But okay, here's the first twist in our story. Euclid's masterpiece, this shining symbol of perfect logic, it had a tiny crack in its foundation. See, he sometimes relied on his drawings and made assumptions that weren't explicitly spelled out in his axioms. For centuries, nobody really cared. But for a certain German mathematician at the turn of the 20th century, it was a huge problem that absolutely had to be solved.
And this is where David Hilbert steps onto the scene. He saw the incredible power of Euclid's method, but he wanted to make it perfectly, flawlessly rigorous. He set out to correct Euclid by stripping away all the unstated assumptions, getting rid of any reliance on just looking at a picture. For him, the axiomatic method was a way to think with total, complete clarity and consciousness.
And Hilbert wasn't just thinking about geometry. Oh no. His ambition was just staggering. He launched what we now call Hilbert's program, and it had two massive goals. First, formalize all of mathematics into a single, perfect axiomatic system. And second, and this is the really crucial part, prove that this system is consistent, meaning it could never, ever lead to a contradiction. He wanted to secure the foundations of math for good.
So, the stage was set for the ultimate triumph of certainty, right? The best minds in the world were on the case, the tools were being forged, but then the dream began to unravel in the most shocking and unexpected way imaginable.
Hilbert's grand vision, this beautiful dream of a perfect and complete mathematics, well, it was about to collide head-on with a quiet but utterly devastating discovery from a young logician over in Vienna.
And this set up a monumental showdown of ideas. I mean, on one side, you've got Hilbert's goal, a complete system where every true statement can be proven. But on the other side, you have the reality uncovered by Kurt Gödel, that in any system powerful enough to do basic arithmetic, there will always be true statements that you can never, ever prove.
Gödel's incompleteness theorems delivered this devastating one-two punch. First, he proved that any powerful axiomatic system will always be incomplete. It'll always have truths that are beyond its reach. And then, the knockout blow. He showed that such a system can never prove its own consistency. This meant Hilbert's grand dream of absolute, provable certainty wasn't just hard, it was mathematically impossible. And just like that, a 2,300-year-old dream was over.
But hang on, this isn't a tragedy. Because out of the rubble of that shattered dream, the axiomatic method was reborn. It was no longer a symbol of absolute truth, but it became something far more practical, far more flexible, and, as it turns out, even more powerful. The entire perspective just flipped. The goal was no longer to find the one true set of axioms for everything. Instead, the method became this incredible tool to create and explore countless different logical worlds. You could just say, okay, let's assume these axioms are true, now what kind of universe can we build?
And its modern power is just vast. I mean, today, the axiomatic method is the backbone of dozens of fields. In math, it gives us the foundation for set theory. In physics, it helps us structure the mind-bending complexities of quantum field theory. And in economics, it's used to model rational decision-making. But maybe its biggest impact of all is in computer science.
Every single time you use a piece of software that's been formally verified, think about an airplane's flight control system, for instance. You're actually seeing the legacy of this method at work. Logics that are built on axiomatic principles are used to prove that code is correct and that it's free of critical bugs. It's the hidden engine of reliability in our digital world.
So we've taken this incredible journey from a dream of absolute certainty to a world of incredible practical power. This ancient tool is now, quite literally, writing the code of our future. There's this fantastic quote that just perfectly captures the modern spirit of the method. It's not about finding one ultimate truth anymore. It's about creating these abstract structures, a set of axioms that can describe a ton of different things, whether it's the logic inside a computer chip or the choices of a consumer. It's like a universal language for patterns. And the story is nowhere near over. The quest for even better foundational languages is still going on. You've got these new fields like category theory creating a sort of mathematics of mathematics to describe universal patterns, while type theory is building these amazing new bridges between logic and computation. They're pushing the boundaries, finding even more powerful ways to describe the hidden structures that govern our world.
So, we've really come full circle, haven't we? The axiomatic method began as this epic search for unchanging absolute truth. It failed in that quest, but in doing so, it became something so much more useful, a dynamic tool for invention. It built the logical foundations of the 20th century. So, the only real question left is, what are we going to build with it next?